Today I'm sculpting one of the most expressive parts of a horse, the ear. We're starting from a simple sphere and building the entire structure from scratch in ZBrush. The first thing I focus on is the overall silhouette. Horses have a very distinct teardrop shape that tapers towards the tip. Right now, I'm just stretching and building that geometry to establish that basic form. Now I will say, I feel like I made a mistake here in kind of starting to hollow out that bowl of the cone. I should have actually just built the entire silhouette of the outside before I even worried about anything inside, but that was more of an approach I would have taken sculpting through Nomad versus ZBrush. So you guys are getting the full experience of me learning on the go as we make these videos. So I probably could have gotten away with just taking off the lower right hand part of the bulb for the ear and been like, yeah, it's done. But I got a little too carried away with my details, and this is a prime example of what I mean when I say don't worry about your details in the beginning, because it will make your sculpt take 10 times longer than it normally would. Ears aren't straight cones. They have a natural curve and direction depending on the horse's expression. So here I'm pulling the ears slightly forward and narrowing the top to give it a more natural profile. So stretching out the muscles a bit kind of gave me a little bit more to work with, but eventually I realized, hey, I should probably just add in another sphere to give us the part that swivels. Also, folding the tip of that ear forward was proving to be a huge challenge for me, so if anybody has any tips in the comments, let me know, and I'll try implementing those on the next one. So we're building up that ear ridge again, and we're also going to be adding a little bit more substance to the edge to really reshape that ear. But I kept finding that I just kept making the ear wider and wider every time I would pull it forward. And I was basically just moving the ear from being stationary and upright to sideways every time. So while your ear shape is going to stay the same across most breeds, it does change depending on the expression of the horse. So you can have a horse with pinned ears and more muscles are going to be utilized on the top of the ear. So I will say that if you are sculpting an ear, make sure you just do the basic shape and form of the ear. We're not worrying about function, but expression does play a huge part in your sculptures. Next, I'm working on the base where the ear attaches to the head. This area is thicker and more muscular because it needs to rotate and swivel. Getting that foundation right makes the entire sculpt feel believable. And here I'm correcting my earlier mistake of hollowing out this part of the ear. I should have just left it all one solid piece and then worked off the silhouette. That would have saved me so much grief. Now I'm carving in the cartilage ridge that runs along the outer edge. This ridge is one of the most defining landmarks of the ear and helps break up the surface planes. Here I'm starting to hollow out the inner ear. The inside isn't just a simple bowl. It has subtle folds and transitions where the cartilage curves inward. And about here, we're back to a shape that looks familiar to the one in the beginning. At this stage, I'm refining the planes and smoothing transitions. Good anatomy is less about tiny details and more about getting the major forms working together. Now it's mostly polish work. We're going to be sharpening the edge of the rim, smoothing the inner surface, and adjusting the silhouette so the ear reads clearly from every angle. And that's the basic structure of a horse ear sculpted from a spear. Small anatomical details like this make a huge difference when you're building believable horses. If you'd like to see more anatomy speed sculpts like this, make sure to follow Printed Ponies. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me through the speed sculpt, and I hope y'all have a great one.